Yeah, there's only 25.
It's kind of funny how many of these runs are just becoming random coverage.
Spike will be totally getting this
to
place
those of you who
hyped,
use
but he'll be
Adblock.
doing it with a Rayman run later on in bonus stream.
Let's see. What can I think I've got my settings on. If you play this game, do not use motion blur. It's terrible. Everything you can turn everything else on though.
Yeah, you kind of
For those people asking
Well,
about
no,
VODs, you
I
can
usually
totally
don't
watch
mind motion
them.
blur. It's just that the motion blur of this game is really bad.
Twitch will be saving them, but if you keep an eye out on the SDA forum, speeddemorsarchive.com, they will make a post
I'll
once
explain more about the
most
backstory
/ all of the YouTube videos are up.
Guys, because this first part does require a little audience participation, if I could ask you how to go in front of the projector or behind me, whichever is more comfortable, because we're gonna have to have a poll. We're gonna have to have a poll.
Nice.
Or at least whoever shouts out first
apparently
gets
there's
the
a bunch of
priority.
people have already uploaded some videos to YouTube. So if you search for AGDQ 2014, followed by your game choice, then it may already be up,
participation.
uploaded by a third party. So anyway, let's get Canadian hype.
Canadians, eh?
Yep. Anyway, so yeah, this is a decent map to do what I need to do. But are we back from commercial?
No, we're totally broadcasting. You've been broadcasting for a little while now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so whenever you're ready.
Yeah. All right. So first of all, I'll show off a little Easter egg when you look at the frame rate. This is Fred. He's happy when you have a good frame rate, sad when you have a bad one. Anyway, so as you may have noticed, I'm wearing a stupid hat. Kiko has lots of stupid hats. He actually has 25 of them.
Nice.
And I'm gonna let you guys choose which one we go through to start the game. We're gonna alternate. If any of you just call out which one you like best. This was gonna be a donation incentive. If this game had made it into if this game made it into the main schedule, but as of now, we just frog hat.
The fishbowl's pretty good, though.
Fishbowl.
Fishbowl's pretty sweet.
We've got. Let's see. We have a boot. We have the birthday party hat. We have a fish. Fish. Any objections to fish to start? I'm gonna switch hats.
I know someone's chat's starting to realise what's going on.
We're gonna start with the fish.
They're pretty hyped for the paper bag.
Yeah.
Wow, they really are hyped for the paper
I'll
bag.
switch to the paper bag of shame during the next cutscene. It's like 10 minutes in. The paper bag of shame. It's just a shout out to Charlie Brown. That's all. Anyway, so yeah, backstory about this game. Papo is a.
By the way, chat has exploded with hats.
Yes. It's an indie puzzle platformer, which has the unique advantage of actually being in 3D, which is pretty rare for the genre. It came out on PSN at first in 2012. It is inspired by lead designer Vander Caballero and his experiences with dealing with an abusive and alcoholic father. The developers are Minority Studios. They're based out of Montreal. They're also working on another similar game called Silent Enemy, which is a top-down game that's going to be dealing with bullying in the same way that this game deals with domestic abuse.
Sorry, the chat have now turned. They're now fishing. They're now spamming fish.
Yes.
See, the chat loves the fish.
Yeah, the chat loves the fish. Okay, we'll
Shout out
switch.
to chat delay.
Yeah, there are plenty of unskippable cutscenes through which you can toggle through the hats. So we'll go with the paper bag of shame after the first one.
Okay, so I'm gonna start.
So
just keep spamming your favourite hats, and I'll
Yeah.
make sure the Englishman switches to the right
All
one.
So 3, 2, 1, start the timer. So we're immediately going to save a minute by going into the menu and just skipping the opening cutscene, because this is how the game's checkpoints work. So we just skip the entire cutscene, which is unfortunate because it has a pretty cool dedication. Basically, he's dedicating this game. Vander Caballero dedicates this game to his family for after having to endure his father. It's kind of sweet, but it also wastes time. So what I'm doing here is called an extended jump. You have about a quarter or a half a second after falling off of a platform to jump again, and it lets you do a longer jump. There are also these little switches which you don't have to pull all the way. And okay, I got one plank. Unfortunately, you can get plankless. Excuse me. Now I'm just literally going to jump over a cutscene trigger by not hitting the right object, and that's going to cause Alejandra, who's the girl, who you saw kind of earlier in a split second, that causes a cutscene with her not to trigger. For those of you wondering, I actually have the two main use buttons bound to scroll up and scroll down. And the second one hasn't really popped up yet, but you'll see what it is in a bit. And later on, we're going to have to backtrack through this area 2 other times, although there is a slight twist to each of them later on. So later on, now I'm going to do another version of the E-jump in order to sort of cut some time over here, in order to grab down this here. And this area starts off a little slow, but it picks up once we get a certain action figure. Her name is Lula. Well, we don't know her actual gender. It's kind of indeterminate, but as I was saying before, you don't have to pull all of that all the way. There is one exception to this rule. Also, you can skip part of that. That's actually a glitch. Anyway, Alejandra is still here, waving to us. I'm right behind you. She also has no collision. Yep, she's a ghost. You're actually not supposed to be within walking distance of Alejandra until like halfway through the game. The voodoo doll on my right is where you collect the hats. After you beat the game once, the voodoo dolls have hats on them and you collect them. I obviously collected them already. So here's the first like minor puzzle. And it is possible to skip this dialogue, but it actually ends up being slower. Is it just me, or am I only hearing audio out of one audio channel? It doesn't matter, but...
we've got a few donations. Sorry that a few of these are a bit late. But we've got $4.44 from Eric Blue. We've got an $80 donation from Fuzzy128. $5 donation from Oromit. $50 donation from Noah Kittleson. Thank you very much. Alec Kim donated $5. Russ Peterson donated $100, so thank you very much. Who says, had way too much fun watching this event. Thanks to all the streamers for donating their time and skill. And finally, there's a anonymous $25 donation, so thank you very much for that. Yeah, a lot of these comments were Duck Fist appreciation, epic commentary, Duck Fist appreciation. So we'll definitely let them know about those. So sorry I couldn't read them out sooner. So you've got some shoes to fill, Englishman. Good luck with the commentary.
Yep, so it's actually technically possible to finish this with just 3 blocks. There's actually an achievement for it, but I don't think my strategy is consistent enough. So for marathon purposes, I'm just doing 4. And it's also to the point where you lose a lot of time if you screw up on a 3 one. Sorry, I've had a cough for the last couple days. Anyway, here's another little time saver. It only saves about a second or 2 using the same checkpoint warp as before. Just saves having to go all the way around, and there's also lots of stuttering. This game likes to stutter because it loads levels. It tries to have seamless transitions by sort of loading within a level, but it doesn't always work. And this game will stutter in certain parts regardless of the machine that you're working on. I mean, the computer I have at home is really bad, and it's still, and on this rig, it's still stuttering in exactly the same places. So anyway, here's the first wheel trick of the run. That saves a significant amount of time, if I can get this. Need I remind you that this game is actually running on Unreal Engine 3 and not on the Mega Man engine, despite what that zip may tell you. That's actually pretty precise, although if you know the right positioning, you can get that to like 85-90% consistency. So now when I hit the switch, this is supposed to be the first time you hit the switch, so Alejandra is like taunting you by going through the door. But no, we're having none of that. We're just going to follow her instead. We already solved the puzzle. So we'll go through here and jump into this cutscene to save about a second. So Paper Bag of Shame was next, I think. So during the next cutscene, we'll switch to Paper Bag of Shame. And if the chat wants to see any more particular hats... Oh, the fish bowl? Okay, so fish bowl will come after that. The game actually expects you to have pulled that all the way out, but you don't need to. That's one thing I like about this game's level design. It does a lot of assuming of the player, which ends up being beneficial. So then we're going to go over here and grab onto the ladder. The thing about ladders in this game is that you have to be at the base of the ladder in order to climb it. You cannot climb it in midair. I've lost quite a few runs because I didn't position that quite right in the past. So here we've got a slow-mo section coming up, which will be a perfect opportunity for me to switch hats. And see if I can get the... No, I didn't get the glitch. Sometimes he stands in midair. So I gotta tap W in order to make sure that I start walking at the earliest possible opportunity. So let's switch over to the paper bag. Where is it? There you are. There it is. This next cutscene will be quite funny. All the characters speak in a sort of a gibberish, which is meant to sound like Brazilian Portuguese. So it's a Simlish meant to represent something else. And there we go. Also, I can activate Lula before we even get her. Except the speakers didn't pick up on it. It worked though. I know that much. Yeah, we can't hear anything out of this. Nope. So you can't really hear it now, but everyone talks in that sort of Portuguese gibberish. And the game tries to hide costume changes under cutscenes here, which normally works, except when you're wearing a hat, it becomes very obvious. So here I'm going in this particular direction in order to avoid stuttering the game, which could actually cause ill effects when you're trying to line up that jump and you can fall down, and that loses like 30 seconds. So I'm going to use another checkpoint warp to skip the tutorial that where Lula teaches you how to double jump with her, or it. I'm just going to default with her because it's clear from the symbolism of this game that she is some sort of maternal figure. Oops. There we go. Shame this game actually has great sound design. You gotta trust me on this.
Okay, we've got a couple more donations here.
Sure.
Got $30 from Benjamin Zack. He said the donation goes to the donation reader. Thank you very much for that. We also have a $25 donation from Egonomics, who says, sorry for donating so late. I was waiting for the Canadian hat to show up on stream. Put that $25 towards getting chap hyped for Melon Hats. Need that kid to stay healthy.
You should be able to hear Kiko calling out for Lula. That's when you know it's...
Actually, how often can you change hats? Is it possible to just have donations to determine the hats?
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Is it possible to have donations to determine the hats? How often can you change it?
Yeah, sure.
Alright.
Yeah, I can change hats on the fly.
Well, in that case, you've got $25 for melon hats.
For the which?
Melon hats.
Melon hat, okay. I'll switch to melon hat. Gotta think a good time. Oh yeah, for Bearing Shadows, that'll be a good checkpoint for it. So, this is called pipe zipping. You run up along the pipe and your speed increases significantly. Unfortunately, you can't hear it, but every time you hit the Lula button, Kiko, the main character, calls out for Lula. And hopefully, if we could get the audio fixed relatively soon, you'll be hearing a lot more of that. Pipe zipping on this surface is a little tricky. You also want to try and jump in between each pipe object because you can get stuck. Same with turning corners here. Sadly, these are the only pipe objects in the game, so it's not a really exploitable trick aside from this one map. You can also sort of trick the game into solving part of the puzzle early here. Am I doing that? And $25 for the melon hat, right?
Yep.
And then you can pipe zip along here.
So if you want to outbid the melon hats, get your wallets open.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate about the speakers, because like I mentioned before, the game has excellent sound work. Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah. Sadly, there is no Canadian hat for Kiko, otherwise I definitely would have chosen that. So, you have seen many different games with invisible walls in this. You've seen people go over invisible walls, around invisible walls. This is one of the only games that I know of where you actually have to go under an invisible wall. And I will explain what that means later. Basically, in the puzzle up ahead with the 3 blocks, there's a sequence where the girl Alejandra will take the 3rd block and snatch it away from you. But you can skip that by, basically the trigger for that area is when you use one of the other blocks as a stepping stone to get to the 1st block. And if you do that, if you avoid doing that, then her part of the puzzle never triggers. So there's an invisible wall like over there, and I have to fly under it. I've been practicing this lately, so hopefully I can get this. Yeah, first try.
Nice.
Yeah, that saves about a minute and a half.
You were practicing that for a good while.
Yeah,
a couple
it's
days ago, and
it's something
very
about.
hard.
I'm used to having a much crappier frame rate in this area, and that changes the timing a little bit. So coming up is Act 2, which is probably the most broken act in the entire game. It's also the only act where you have Lula from start to finish.
Yeah, chat's typing out shoe hype now, but
Yeah. Okay, shoot. We'll go.
no one's donated
So the
for
game
it,
wants
so-
you to go all the way down here, but screw that. We can just jump over here. And I don't think I lined this up properly. I almost had that. You can avoid having to use Monster's Belly here by sort of sliding in that little area. Coming up is probably not the hardest, the most random trick in the game. Basically, there's a section where you just have to keep feeding Monster coconuts until he falls asleep, and then you use his belly to jump on him. But if I can get this correctly, I will have another collision error with Monster, and if I can get it, you'll see what happens. Thankfully, I can still save a huge amount of time even after I fail it once, but it's more like saving a minute as opposed to 2 minutes. And I can also use Monster to sort of boost me forward, but he only did it once. So far, this has been a pretty average run. I don't expect a world record on this, but, I mean, who knows. I hold the current world record of 1 hour, 10 minutes, 56 seconds on this game, and 1:09 is definitely possible. Let's see if I can actually get this. Come on, Monster. No. Okay, so backup plan. It's a very odd trick, this one, and it's something to do with VSync as well, which I've already turned on. If you turn it off, it causes a lot of problems with this game. So I'm setting up my backup plan in order to make sure that if this goes wrong, I don't have to go all the way back up here. So I have to manipulate Monster into going onto all fours, because this trick only works when he's running. Come on. Run for your supper. There we go. Oh, God, Monster, what are you doing? Monster, please. No, okay. Yeah, I kind of figured this part would troll me here. I'm still gonna. The funny thing is, even I can still save time here. There's also absolutely no way I can world record, because if after the first attempt, I always reset. So this is not going to be world record anymore. I got it 3rd try though. There, you sort of zip up, and yeah. And if you're doing it the first time, you save 2 minutes. I had to reset there because Monster is supposed to be asleep, but if I try to go over there, he's not asleep. So you have to restart from checkpoint. And this next area is also pretty broken. You throw 2 coconuts over here, and then I'm going to throw a 3rd coconut over in this little section here. That's going to wake Monster up as he's rotating around here. Basically means I don't have to spend time sort of trying to get him to wake up, because this is in his aggro zone already. Alright. Sorry, the previous... They wanted the shoe, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Next cutscene, I'll switch to the shoe. And I got an extremely rare boost off of Monster all the way over there, so that's a small consolation. So here, I'm not gonna be skipping a cutscene as much as I am delaying it. I'm gonna go around this, which is pretty hard to do on keyboard and mouse, like so, and then get Monster up to here. And then Alejandra is gonna go over here and tell me what to do after I've already done it. That's very nice, Alejandra. I don't need to hear that. I'm way ahead of you, girl. And then we'll throw the coconut through here just because we can. And now we're gonna have one of the more complicated E-jumps, and one with pretty precise timing, although I do have a backup. There we go. Okay, I just skipped the entire puzzle there. And then I can hit the switch over there. We're going to do some more checkpoint warping after we cut the scissors over here. So it's going to warp us all the way back to over where the key is. And, yeah, unfortunately, this next cutscene isn't really... I got to see if I can quickly switch over to the boot. I can't really see where I'm going. So, there it is. There we go. Boot hype. Any more donations, Robo, or... Any more donations?
Don't think any.
Oh, guess not. Okay.
We are still accepting donations, so
Okay.
keep the money
So,
coming in.
this coming up is the first trick I actually ever found for this game. When it comes to sequence breaking, this game has the mantra similar to Metroid Prime of when in doubt, climb on the scenery. There's a lot of scenery climbing to be done in this game. This is the first trick I ever found for this. So you're supposed to clear the pipe of frogs over here, but you don't need to do that. You could just go over here, slide back, and get over to the switch without having to lure monster over. Now, the trick isn't done, technically, because there's still a fair amount to be done left. Basically, we have to take out the middle step of this puzzle, which requires a pretty precise coconut throw a little bit later on. And I'm only activating certain parts of the puzzle in a specific order. So I'm going to ignore that switch over there. Instead, I'm just going to hit this one, which will allow me to go over here. And then we're going to activate the switch, which activates the third pipe with the frogs in it. And then we're going to kill the frogs inside. So we're essentially having monster go straight from the first pipe over to the switch, which skips 2 steps of the puzzle. Frogs have very bad RNG when it comes to their AI. They do not like being tossed into the wall. I mean, if you were a frog, you probably... There's a good reason why we're killing the frogs. Frogs are very bad news in this game. Very bad news indeed. It's just a shame you can't hear Kiko calling out for Lula, because that's probably one of the funnier and more annoying parts of the game. So I gotta have a very specific coconut throw over here. And go over here and hit the switch, and then we're just gonna jump straight from the first pipe over to the end of that section of the puzzle. And then this map opens up even further, and we have even more stuff to do.
Shout outs to tired individuals.
Sorry?
Shout outs to tired individuals.
Yeah. Anyway, the rest of this puzzle is as intended, although you only need to throw 1 frog into the pipe over here instead of all 3. But that's more of a quirk in how Monsters AI works. It's not really a sequence break. It's a good thing you don't have to throw all 3, because, like I said, they hop around like mad. They are frogs after all. Just want to make sure to accidentally kill it. That's good. Having failed the skip for deception is also going to change how I approach certain other maps, because I no longer have a world record run at stake at this point. So I'll be showing off some of the fancier stuff. I should still get below estimate though, unless everything goes horribly wrong. And so far, some of the stuff I would normally fail in a 115 run has not gone wrong so far. So I'm gonna I gotta guess like a 112 or a 113. So it's at this point where the game just sort of it just sort of goes a little nuts. You notice it started raining. That's never a good sign, is it? We're about to find out why frogs are so bad in this game.
Are they like gremlins?
Okay. Got a couple of donations when you're ready?
Froggies. Oh no, monster! Don't eat the frog! What are you doing? Oh no!
No, that's not food. Stop that.
Oh!
Oh god.
Okay, so this is an unavoidable throw. He threw me into a good position. That's good. Kiko cannot die, but you can get pretty easily stun locked by him. So the game expects you to build a bridge of 15 parts up to where the blueberry is, which will cure monster of his frog-induced sickness. However, you only need 9 of them, and a specific 9. And it makes what is quite literally just a walk straight forward into a very complicated jumping puzzle, but it still saves time. So I collected those 5, then I'm going to collect the 4 up here. I said I'm going to collect the 4 up here after hitting the switch, and then we're going to turn up the difficulty, because you're not supposed to be able to get up here this way. I didn't even have to use Lula. That's a lot harder than it looks. I spent quite a bit of time grinding that.
That was very smooth.
And just for fun, you gotta wait until a monster is sort of keeling over there. And we can just hit the switch again. And clip inside monster for fun. All right. Any more donations or questions or hat requests from the chat?
So we've got 2 donations. There's an anonymous $25 donation, which just says, thank you for awesome speedruns. So thank you for the donation. We have another $25 from Jack Lee, who says, this is for fish hats or just for RNG manipulation for the Englishman. Either or.
Yeah,
By and Tem hype.
Yeah, Jackie Lee is a very frequent visitor of my channel. So this is the second slow-mo section of the game, and it starts to put the symbolism together. I kind of theorized that this game isn't so much about the player figuring out what the symbolism is as much as it is Kiko, because at this point it starts to become really obvious what everything is supposed to mean, but Kiko is kind of blind to it, and so the point of the game is to make him understand what's going on. So I wonder if you can figure out the extremely subtle and nuanced symbolism of this next scene. Also, it's not possible to outrun the chalk here like it is in the first map.
I think chat are figuring out what the frogs represented from the last scene.
Although I think they'd be hard pressed to guess what type of thing it is within its category.
Oh, they're guessing whiskey actually.
That's a good guess. Sure. Is there up or down? Okay. Yeah. I mean, is the actual game audio bleeding? Are they able to hear everything? Or?
Yeah, everything's fine. According to chat,
so they could hear Kiko calling for Lula, etc. It is quite adorable. We can't hear it, but I almost instinctively hit my split button because when Lula says it's not your fault, that's one of my splits here. But so this sets up the next premise for the game. Kiko is going on this journey to cure Monster of his frog illness, and in order to do that, he needs to find this mystical man called the Shaman, who will somehow help Monster be cured of his disease. And only Kiko can do this for some reason. This is very much in a dream world. I mean, this is how Kiko copes with his problems. And so he's creating this scenario in his mind based on what he's experienced at home. And as I mentioned before, this is also semi-autobiographical in that this is also how Vander Caballero, the lead designer, dealt with his problems. That he also sort of went into these dream worlds and daydreamed this scenario where he could have where there was some hope for his own father. So this next area has a pretty complicated and a little bit linear house puzzle, but we're going to break it open by, you guessed it, climbing on the scenery. You could drive in this barrel, jump over here, and now we're in the last area for where you would normally be collecting the puzzle pieces. Idea is you build a bridge out of these houses. We also left Monster behind. The first thing you were actually supposed to do was use Monster's belly to get to that switch, but we'll be freeing Monster in a little bit. We're going to basically end up starting with 4 house blocks here instead of 3, which allows us to access the second area to the left a lot earlier than the game intends. And there's also another glitch coming up a little bit. This area, I love it. This is one of my favorite maps of the game. Also, we can't hear it, but the music dynamically shifts every so often. Yeah, sure. Oh, I can sort of hear Lula. Oh, I can hear it on their end. So, we hover with Lula and then tap, and there I just grabbed the handle during the cutscene, which means I can instantly start pulling the houses. And here we go. We're going to do this. This is going to get much, much bigger. This is going to be like 10, 15 houses strong. Also, because Havoc wasn't built for this kind of stuff, as soon as you hit switches and they start flying, the houses lose all collision. So you can just fly right through them. This actually creates a couple of very interesting shortcuts. It also blinds me to the camera a couple times. This area was pretty bad on the PlayStation 3 version of the game, just because it's huge, it lags a lot, and the camera tended to get stuck on these little blocks. But because I'm using keyboard and mouse, a lot of those problems have gone away. So I said before, we left Monster behind. Well, we're going to go get him now. Starting from now, we're on a cycle. We're going to try and get a certain cycle to grab a certain coconut so that I can save about 5 seconds. If I did this right, I will start climbing. Now, if I did it right, I could have blindly climbed onto that ladder. I had a sort of a rhythm going, but there's really not much you can do in terms of consistently getting that. It's just nice when you get it. It gives you a little more wiggling room when it comes to grabbing the coconut before Monster does.
By the way, the chat is currently spamming Sean, Luna, and Jason memes. Shoutouts to Batman.
And don't forget Rachel.
Oh, and Rachel.
Rachel!
No one's on Rachel yet, but that'll come in a second. We've also got a $25 donation from City Headache, who says, "Thank you so much for including Papo EO in the event. One of my favourite games. It's great what you're all doing. Keep splatting those frogs. From a real English woman." Yeah. Real English.
Take that.
Yeah. Shots fired.
Shots fired. Eh?
Wonder shots
Well,
fired.
we don't shoot. We don't shoot really. We just like snide comments fired. Yeah.
Snark.
Yeah.
So the way that this puzzle works is that once there's no coconuts in his aggro zone anymore, Monster goes off to sleep. That last one we picked up, by the way, was supposed to be one of the very first pieces we picked up. We were intended to lure Monster over with a coconut and hit a switch, but we don't need him. In fact, if you play your cards right, you won't actually... I didn't line this up right. If you play your cards right, you actually don't need Monster for any of the puzzles in the game until, like, halfway through. But unfortunately, that streak was kind of ruined. Okay, yeah, this is not working out as I intended. Am I missing any? Oh, yeah, I missed this in practice as well. Oh dear, this is not gonna bode well. Okay, I keep missing this one for some reason, or maybe it's I hit the switch for it. It's just sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes when I was playing on this machine, it doesn't like it when I. Oh, I'm missing all 3 of these. How did I miss them? I could have sworn I got those already. This is what happens when I try to commentate over stuff, and oops. Well, this is going on the blooper reel. Yeah, normally this is one of the tougher parts of the game in terms of routing it and execution. I just completely forgot about the last 3 blocks. So yeah, I'm guessing this could be closer to 115 now. I should have reset all the way back. If this were any percent run, I would have reset all the way back at Deception at the beginning of Act 2. Yeah, I'm just double checking to make sure those haven't magically gone back again. And there we go. Yeah, Kinko can also sometimes get stuck on that barrier. This bridge was obviously meant for WASD, or sorry, it was meant for joystick, not WASD. So coming up is a little ball and cup mini game. In our chat, we like to play a game where we guess where the keys are going to land.
They'll probably guess after it starts.
Yeah, we have to guess. We have to guess. My guess currently is going to be left, center. The chat wants to guess as well. Let's see. Yep, 1 for 3. Sorry, I'm just really embarrassed by that house puzzle. I missed it in practice twice, and I knew going into this that I needed to pay attention to it. I still somehow missed it.
Oh no, they are guessing. We've gone left, right, centre, right, left, right, left.
Yeah.
Team left. There's a team left apparently.
Yeah. one out of 2 so far.
Come on, right.
Yeah, 1 out of 3. Not too bad. I would have preferred the last one to be in the center because it's like a quarter second faster, but hopefully I will be able to pay a little more attention during White Mountain, which is the last section of Act 2. And I think that you should be prepared for some Bible thump spam at the end of this. You know why, Robo?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this game gets you in the feels every so often. Any questions from the chat in addition to hat requests and Lula, Jason, Sean spamming?
No, there's a no. There's just team left to right. Oh, who's commentating? This is Robo Sparkle. Someone's made a guess. Up, down, down, left, right, left, right.
Do you prefer playing this on the keyboard or with the controller?
Personally, I prefer it, but there's no there are enough advantages and disadvantages between the two that it ends up being pretty much neutral, as long as you're playing on the PC version. I mean, the PS3 is great for casual play, but the PC version is much more stable. I mean, by that I mean it is actually stable. I mean, it's I own both versions, and I can say from experience that the PS3 is certainly playable, but it crashes a lot. So I have to be kind of careful here when I'm setting these up, because there's a glitch where if I'm moving at too high a speed in the wrong direction, I will actually clip through these buildings, which didn't happen. It only happens on the sides generally. And I need to move towards the right in order to save a little bit of time there. So this is actually a new route for this chapter that my stream viewers may not have seen before, because basically it means it's a new route that I set up to ensure that I don't have to move the first piece of the building at all while setting this up. There are two main pieces to this. One is getting all of them to move, for one thing, and getting a key for the second piece, the one with the over there, over the pink building. So the first bit of this is we get the key from up there. I don't have to move this at all, because it turns out this little barrister, not a barrister, whatever it is, it has no collision, so I can jump through it. The key's up there for this area. And then I'm going to have to do a more complicated E-jump in order to ensure that I don't have to move the staircase in place. The game really wants you to use the staircase to the point that it will actually put an invisible wall on the right side over there, which I have to fly around using an extended jump. The length of which will differ depending on how quickly I put those two in place. I got the key, and now it's just a matter of this looks like a long one. I'm used to it being a little bit shorter, but I think I can still do this. This is a lot harder than it looks, because it also requires a consistent 60 in order to pull it off. So let's see. Gotta line this up. Okay, down. And got it.
Nice.
That's a lot harder than it looks.
Quick question, Englishman.
Yep.
Favorite indie game?
Sorry?
Favorite indie game?
If Mark of the Ninja counts, that definitely would be.
That's a pretty good choice. Yeah.
Braid is up there, but in terms of actual like replayability, Mark of the Ninja would probably be my favorite indie game. So now we got everything in place. The pipe, you want to avoid going to the left with this, because otherwise you line up with the frogs. Not that it matters. Okay, I expect to see at least several thousand Bible thumps out of this cutscene, at least. Bible thumps. All of your crying babies. You will need every single crying baby. Even get your actual crying babies at home. Put them in front of the stream and make them cry if you have to. Because this is a very, very sad moment. Ruined by wearing a boot on my head. Lula!
Oh man, they're warming up their Isaacs.
Yep.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes.
Yep. Let's switch over to the tiara.
Watch out for spamming. Watch out for spamming 20 of them in a row, because the bot will time you out. Yeah.
The chat will be able to hear this, but I'll be able to revive Lula for one frame. There we go. Because the widescreen version of Kiko has everything, including Lula. So anyway, that scene was too depressing. I'm gonna have to start the whole game all over again. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
But yeah, this is the second retread of the first map that you get. Thankfully, the third retread is very short, as in like 15-20 seconds, as opposed to this where you redo most of the puzzle. The next puzzle is one of the more infamous ones for me when I was starting running this. It has an incredible paradox in that the hardest strat is also the safest. You'll see what I mean in a second. It involves coconut manipulation, and Monster's AI will glitch out if there's more than one coconut on the map and you're holding one in your hand, and he will sort of like he'll be very indecisive about which coconut to go to. It's a lot easier to court him out of the map when you have the last coconut there, but that requires getting a perfect version of the puzzle. Also, this area stutters on every single ring that I've played this on. Doesn't matter how powerful it is. I just want to be sure in the chat that I am not actually dying.
Yeah, is that just like a loading thing then, or?
Yeah, it's loading the next area because it's loading the new part of this map that hasn't been seen before. It does have a couple of fade to white transitions as you mentioned before, as you've seen before, but nothing too bad. There's also in like 2 or 3 maps, there's one section which is absolutely perfect for reading off donations and questions because almost nothing happens during it. But for now, this is not.
Get your questions ready.
That part. This is not that part at all.
Oh, someone's asking what other games you speedrun.
I speedrun Resident Evil 4. I did that 2 years ago at AGDQ, and God of War 2, which I did the year after that. Although I haven't touched those games as of late. I'm considering just sticking with more PC stuff because keyboard and mouse is a little easier on my hands for now. But yeah, I also do a lot of tasking.
Yeah, I was going to say. Those of you who are into task videos, and if you're not, you should be because it's a really great form of speedrunning. The Englishman did the current tasks for Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid VR missions. Those are both probably your most recent works, were they? Mm-hmm. VR missions is really, really entertaining. So he's actually put up 2 versions. One which kind of fast forwards, ignores the arbitrary like practice runs, doing the real ones. He's also so he's done so those of you who watched Slade run Metal Gear Solid, the task of it is basically run using similar straps to those. A few minor time savers have been incorporated in the meantime, but it's still a very good run. Clocks in just over an hour, well worth watching. I think the VR missions it's just so good though. You need to watch that if you're into MGS.
Also, how could I have forgotten? This game is available on the current Humble Indie Bundle. Humble Bundle X, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Along with Surgeon Simulator 2013, which is another game that was on the main schedule. Go get this game.
Yeah,
it's in the Humble Bundle. There's no excuse.
Yeah,
you don't need to shell out $15 for it.
Yeah.
Chat's
been spamming Humble Bundle actually throughout. Yes. Everyone's asking, and like loads of people responded. So yeah, I mean Humble Bundle's a great way to not just like get new games, but learn about great games as well.
Yeah. So here's the tricky part of this area. I have to grab the coconut. As soon as I know that monster is fully dissolved back into this dimension, okay, yeah, that's a lot harder than it looks. If he hadn't done that, I probably would have had to waste like 2 or 3 minutes getting him to go around. Anyway, here's another quirk in Monster's AI. If a frog and a blueberry, which cures a sickness, are in the same area of his aggro, he will go for the berry, which means I can throw the berry over here, and then skip part of the puzzle, run the frog right past him because he's too busy looking at the berry. Whee! Yeah, pay no attention to the frog, because apparently the berry is more interesting.
Someone's asked why you're called the Englishman.
I picked the username in junior high, and I just stuck with it. I like it. So, yeah, this is the slow part that I mentioned before. Perfect time for donations and questions, as well as a hat change. Very easy for hat changes.
I was really sad there wasn't some like more ironical story for your username.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to disappoint.
Even the 2 Englishmen who actually sat on this side of the room.
Yeah. It's okay. The Englishmen technically control the audio.
I think it's funny. It's like, oh, it's Englishman. Wait,
Yeah.
is this the right guy?
Also, for some reason, I really don't like the kissing sound that they use for Alejandro in this area. I don't know why. I just don't like it. It sounds off.
You want me to make up some new ones?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes. Although do consider that it is very heavily applied that it's ambiguous as to whether or not Alejandra is supposed to be Kiko's sister or is like his first crush, but it really could be either. The mother figure is definitely Lula, though. I mean, there's no question about that. Even though Lula doesn't really have a gender, Lula is still the mother figure. And I don't know how much of the symbolism I really want to spoil at this point. I don't think I will, because lots of the symbolism becomes very obvious in Act 5. Also, because I'm no longer going for a world record time, I'm going to be doing a very complicated strategy in the next map called Monster Boost. And I'm sure that those of you who have seen my seen my stream before are already shivering in anticipation and dread. Also, this area, for those of you who have played the marathon games made by Bungie from Mac, you may remember a certain map in the first marathon called Colony Ships for Sale Cheap. This puzzle is like that. Is like that control room puzzle, except good. Mainly because there's an audio cue whenever you get the right switch going, so it gets rid of a lot of the trial and error. Basically, we're taking the centipede that Alejandra has made for us and using it to cart around Monster's lazy tuchus here. He's very lazy. Sits around all day eating coconuts and beating up little children.
That's the life.
Yep, the life of a representation of a Brazilian father in the mind of the kid that he's abusing. Have I mentioned this game is for kids? So yeah, go ahead. This is perfect timing for donations, etc.
Oh yeah, someone from chat's asking about the VODs from previous runs. There is a Reddit thread that's up at the moment, which has actually got a fair few of them on. It's actually been put up. There will be official SDA videos of all the runs of Stream and Bonus Stream.
I know there's a Reddit thread for all the VODs.
Twitch.
Oh, and
Previous GDQs you can find on YouTube.
Yeah. Also on the Games Done Quick website, which I hope you're watching this on anyway. On the Games Done Quick website, there's links to videos in all the previous marathon schedules. But yeah, that is where the main VODs will be posted once they're processed in high quality, including this one. Oh, here's an interesting one, Englishman.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see yourself speedrunning in the future?
hopefully with a better computer for a start. That'd be nice. But honestly, I think if I could keep up the mixture of tool-assisted and RTA work, that'll be fine for me. It's actually, I started out at the Sonic Center, and then found what was then NES videos and SDA through there. So I was sort of too young and not didn't know enough to sort of have the initial task versus speedrun drama that was mentioned earlier by I think it was Insult who was doing the bot, task bot. I was sort of, that sort of went over my head, so I went into it with a fresh mindset, and yeah, it's been a great experience, and I'm glad that I've been able to come for 3 years in a row to AGDQ, and I'm glad I'm able to show off this game to a lot of people who probably have never even heard of it before coming here.
We've got shout out Steve from Freezer.
Ah, okay. Hi, Freezer.
Freezer.
And does the chat want a hat change, or do they like the tiara?
No one's gone in for hat spamming yet, so
The fishbowl earlier.
The fish bowl. Okay. I'll switch to the fish bowl. Oh, there it is.
I know might be a joke question, but I mean we are still accepting donations, and yeah, literally every single cent of what you donate goes directly to Prevent Cancer Foundation. I don't think SDA even like has access to the account or anything like that. It's just directly to them. So
So here's the only real trick of this map. You take 15 steps up to here, and then you stop. You don't want to go all the way. You can just bounce off of Monster's belly and just hit the next checkpoint, and everything will set itself. Can I get a time check?
You're currently on
Oh,
46:10.
Yeah, okay. Alright, well, hopefully I can save like 15 seconds by doing this crazy trick. This is Monster Boost. We are deliberately going to get Monster to eat a frog, and then hopefully skip some of the bridge by having him throw us up over to where Alejandro will end up here. It is very precise, and even with the precision, extremely random. Both the RNG and my skill have to be in sync in order to get this to work. So here we go. So we're going to get this part of the bridge going. That will spawn a frog, but we're not going to kill it. We're going to let Monster eat it. And then my visual point of reference is a series of leaves over here, which I sort of line myself up with the.
Someone in the chat is giving you boost power.
Yeah, this is boost power. This is, at this point, this is the son abusing the father. Okay. Good setup. Nope. Okay, didn't work. He has a random chance of me of him throwing me over to where I need to go. So I gotta use the other safe strat, which I haven't actually showed that many people. So this will be new to most of my chat viewers, my regulars anyway. Basically allows me to skip the first part of the bridge while still collecting the other two pieces. I was really hoping that would work. Oh well. I generally tend to do much better when I'm on my own channel. Unfortunately, the game won't look as pretty because my current computer isn't all that great. It can't really run it at anything other than medium. So. But yeah, I like I said, I hold the current world record at 1 hour, 10 minutes, 56 seconds. That's with a decent number of mistakes. And I could definitely go into 109 with good enough luck and skill as well. So here's the new strat. We collected the two initial pieces of the bridge, the two in the back. We don't need the first one because we can, you guessed it, climb on the scenery, do an E-jump over here. I missed it, but even with this, it still saves 5 seconds over putting in the other one. So it would save 10 seconds initially. Why am I not getting this? Okay, here, I'll give it one more shot. Yeah.
A few people have asked about next games. Bonus schedule is fairly loosely scheduled, but the next game up is Sonic Ball, which is going to be a race, and it's
I believe it's Sonic Ball, actually.
I was watching a bit of that earlier for the first time. That was amazing.
You were pronouncing it way
You need to stick around for that.
clearly saying it.
How many fasts per hour will you get?
Oh,
All of them.
All of the fasts.
yeah. Yeah, Englishman, a question from me. How many fasts per hour are you getting at the moment? Englishman.
Yeah?
Number of fasts per hour. How many are you getting at the moment?
Sorry, in regards to this game?
Yeah, why not?
It's the fasts per hour are kind of canceling each other out at this point. For every one I gain, I lose about 2 or 3. Anyway, so this is a perfect cutscene for a hat change, by the way. I'm also carrying the coconut into this cutscene. Coconut will disappear, but I will still have it. The reason I'm doing this is because Monster usually spawns in a docile state, and then we'll run over to get one of the other coconuts on the other side of the map. But by doing this, I can get him to get to my attention immediately, pretty much. So I don't have to chase him down. So yeah, this is a perfect opportunity to switch hats right now. Any suggestions for the chat?
For hats?
Yeah.
They're spamming Sank balls and Raymans at the moment.
I also checked debating various
Yeah. Oh no, there's a fishbowl suddenly. Lula. Lego hat.
Lego hat. Oh yes, I know the Lego hat.
Oh yeah, there were a few Lego hats earlier. I don't think we've seen that one yet.
Yeah, the Lego hat's pretty cool.
Fedora, Avatar. shoe, stovepipe. Froggy. I assume I'm the guy that sounds like Jonathan Wass. Yeah. Wassy.
Alright, so I'll switch over to the Lego.
Oh, no, Lego. There's a big Lego spam suddenly. Wow.
There we go, Lego hat.
That is
Watch
a
Lego hat strats right there, ladies.
that is a Lego spam.
So basically what I'm doing at this point is I'm solving the puzzle as intended, but with one extra coconut. So I don't have to go over to where the tree is and shake off more of them. We're basically going to trap Monster and use his anger to revive Lula. So yeah, this is quickly turning into a revenge fantasy for Kiko at this point. We're the ones abusing him now. It is possible to do this with 2 coconuts, but extremely risky. And now we're going to have to deal with Monster being angry for a good chunk, like 10-15 minutes of the run. He's going to be chasing us. But we're going to have to activate this little scissor first. Alright, now he's angry. Yep. You wouldn't like Monster when he's angry and possibly drunk. And no, that wasn't a joke. Yeah, it's pretty much... The chat figured it out at this point.
Alright.
Frogs are whiskey. And his anger is a manifestation of Kiko's father's alcoholism. But there are still more twists to come that the chat has not quite figured out yet.
A couple of questions from chats. First one, do you wear that hat out in public?
Only when I want to inflict harm upon myself, but I'm too cowardly to do it.
Cool.
But yeah, I occasionally just for the occasional party joke or something.
And second question, where in Canada are you from?
I'm from Toronto. So yeah, you have to hit those switches in order to move the blocks away, and if Monster grabs you, all of those blocks reset, you get pushed all the way back. Also, you can move during this cutscene. I only move a certain distance forward, though, because if I move in the wrong direction during this, I could get stuck in one of the pieces of environment, and I could have to start all the way back to where Alejandro was talking to me earlier. Also, I'm still not really used to how pretty this part looks with everything set, with all the graphics settings set to high. Because this area tends to dip down to like 30 FPS and go a little crazy on my machine. So, also I can run past Monster here because he's scripted to run over to the left. He's not really interested in me at this point. So now we're just gonna have to do this one more time because this is a video game. We have to do it 3 times, and this one can be a bit tricky, particularly when you're playing with a controller, because if you take too sharp of a turn, Monster is almost guaranteed to grab you. I was pushing it a little, but I got it off. And there we go. That's the third piece. I think that is a sufficient amount of anger to bring Lula back. And yeah, we're gonna have to deal with Monster being angry for a good chunk of the rest of the game. And wait for it. Wait for it. It's a miracle. We brought Lula back, guys. We did it. Woo! Yay, Lula!
Shout outs to cool background things that people are slowly starting to notice.
Sorry?
There's a terrorist in your background.
Oh.
Yeah, suddenly. Beware.
Okay.
Don't give it too many frogs.
Oops, why am I going this way? I thought I was going in the other direction. So, again, well, a monster was roaring there, which means I could take a little shortcut going up to here. So we don't actually have to go up to the altar in order to get Lula. We could actually just run over to where the next platforming section is going to be, and after a couple of seconds, Kiko will call for Lula automatically. I also really love the soundtrack for this game. And you can also buy the soundtrack as part of the Humble Indie Bundle that I mentioned before. there's really no reason not to get the game. The Humble Bundle lasts for another 2 weeks. It just started. It's also part of a number of flash sales on Steam. If you want to get those. And see, I just gotta wait here for Lula. There we go. And now we can. Now we're pretty much officially in the end game, folks. Yeah. Although I suspect that I probably will be overestimate, just because of how bad certain sections went. But it would be nice if I could get under 115. Although I doubt it. So this part is definitely a nightmare to route out the first time I did it. Basically, you have these 12 pipes that you're supposed to create into a bridge, much like the houses earlier. You only need 10 of them though. And the idea is they want to stay off of the ground. There are only 10 in this area here, and the other 2 are on the ground where monster is almost certain to grab you and throw you. So I want to only collect the 10 that are on the ground. Yeah, that's bad. That's very bad. The good news is that I have a backup strat. I could still use at least one of those over there. If I could just get Lula to get the switch. And just as backup.
I don't have any sound.
And I'll just have to change my route a bit. There. Okay, so I avoided part of the bad route there. I just set that up as a backup. And yeah, I guess this is karmic retribution for my Resident Evil 4 God of War 2 runs having gone so well in the past. You know, I had to have a nightmare run eventually.
Yeah, if you want to see God of War 2, God of War getting broken away, watching that was something special.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't play the game as much anymore, but there's still a YouTube link to it. Floating out there somewhere. So yeah, as long as I pay attention and don't screw up, there's really no need to go down there for those other 2. But we'll see. At least they're there. So here's the other shortcut here. We're going to climb in these barrels, do an extended jump. And I failed it, yeah. I expected it to. Good news is I only need one of those, and then I can immediately start. Because like I say here, it's a guarantee that monster will grab you. Thankfully, when he grabs you, it cancels out. Yeah, I think we're good for... it was just the one, right? Yeah. I promise that if you follow me on Twitch, I will have much, much better runs on my channel than what I'm showing here. No, just barely got the jump. You're supposed to put down all 12, but I used a little bit of a tricky jump there to not have to get those 2 on the bottom. So now I'm going to do part of a jumping puzzle and just ignore it and take the shortcut, because that's actually where you get one of the hats is from that jumping puzzle. You're expected to run on the ground when doing this normally. So there's one other big area coming up where the AI could really screw me over. And I'll explain it when we get there. But for now, if there's any more donations, questions, or hat changes, this is another good spot for hat changing.
Alright, well, we'll find out in about 20 seconds whether they want hat changes. Nothing particular coming up, it looks like.
Someone says, I can't honestly say I've had experience being chewed off by a fire demon, but it looks like it hurts.
Yeah. There's still a couple of leftover Jason spams. Oh, shoe on head. Oh, question. What games can we expect to see you run on your Twitch channel?
Primarily Papo, although there's another indie game called Jazz Punk, which looks very interesting, that's coming out on February 7th, which I might run if it's good enough.
Okay, here we go with the hat
I'm
spams.
also considering doing a co-op run of 50 Cent Blood on the Sand with Acute Links, aka the guy who saved the cat during the fire alarm.
Alright, so we've got Top Hat, Frog, Top Hat.
All right,
Top hats. Yeah, top hats is the main spam at the moment. There's a couple of shoe on heads.
All right, I do need an audio cue on this second one. I know that's not the top hat, but I don't have time to fix it right now. There we go. I'll get it over to the top hat whenever I can. So I need an audio cue for this one. There we go. There we go. And Alejandra's AI was good to me. Occasionally she'll get stuck on that one area where she spawns and will jump up and down in place like a pogo stick. And that can last anywhere between 5 seconds and a minute. And sometimes she gets stuck there forever and you have to push her off. But I wouldn't be insulting her too much because we're going to have to get the Bible Thumps out again. Pretty much, it's now Bible Thump Central from here on out until the end of the game. Oh dear. That doesn't bode well for her, I think. Yeah. Are we seeing the crybabies yet?
Not yet.
So I always wait a half a second there to make sure monster follows me before I go over here.
Yeah, there we go. So chat says Bible thump.
Yes. At least we have Lula, right? That's something. Yeah.
Okay, we've got a anonymous $10 donation, so thank you very much for that. We are still accepting donations, and we are still sending all of them on to Prevent Cancer Foundation. I don't think we've got any bid wars or particular challenges coming up.
You can see all that stuff over at Games Done Quick anyway. It's on there, as y'all should be. Right now.
So here I dropped the coconut in a specific place so that monster wouldn't run off and eat one of his own. That saves about 10 seconds. And at this point, I need all the time saved I can get, considering how much I've lost. I just can't believe I'm going to actually be overestimate. I never imagined I would be.
We have the Mega Man 3 SNES versus PS2. When did that happen? Did you run that already? Or am I late? Yeah, this is a very specific bid war.
This is the classic Inception.
Alright, so this,
Yeah.
he hasn't done X3 yet.
Although the map is called Euclid is
So
right.
there is a bid war going
Although
on for
its
Mega
map
Man
its map
3.
name is Inception in the
Yeah.
game files.
So, oh, you got it.
There's a bid war going on for Mega Man X3 SNES versus PS2. Category is low percent, which is different. The route is different depending on the version. I'm going to say that for the third time.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I got the ladder glitch there. That's something. Small consolation for everything else that's gone on in this run.
that's a bit of an impressive bid war, actually.
Alright, I'm going to repeat that since
Yep.
I'm now on microphone. The Mega Man X3 SNES versus PS2 version, there was a bid war going on. The category of low percent, the route is different depending on the version you take. The SNES version is buster only low percent, and it's a little bit laggy, but it has a glitch that the disc versions. It does not have a glitch that the disc versions have. The PS2 version has no lag. You walk and climb faster, and it has a glitch which skips all of the 8 Mavericks. So it's up to you which one you want Ginny to run, basically.
Currently, the SNES version is winning by $445 to the PS2's $347.
So about $98.
Yeah.
And now we wait
Now we play the waiting game.
for 3 minutes.
The elevator music.
This is the elevator song.
I might need to replace the elevator music on my Arkham streams. This is pretty good.
Dad, crotch percent is now complete.
I know, man. You go for the classic in the Arkham.
There we go.
That's a well record, by the way.
Cheers, man. It was really bad.
It's still a well
Take a
record.
stretch break.
It was just to demonstrate how much you can time you could save by
Get
being on
walk around.
PC and
I think the Englishman is currently going off for a sandwich.
sandwich percent hype.
Sandwich percent hype.
Also, in case it wasn't totally blatant at this point, this is the point where Kiko finally catches on to what's going on. Also, do you want a hat change for the final boss, or do you want to stick with the top hat for the chat?
Well, let's find out, chat. Spam hats now. Also, spam donations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Donation spam.
Yeah.
Or you could donate some hats.
I think a donation for a specific hat would ultimately
Yes.
win.
Alright, so what have we got? Shoe on head, Dr. Zeus. Shoe on head,
Soccer
boots on
ball.
head. Play Oddworld. Oh man, if someone here could speedrun Oddworld, I'd love that. I love that. But progressively, shoe, fish bowl,
fish,
Lego,
bowl.
fish bowl.
Someone's saying fez. Do you have a fez?
There's no. Oh, there's the gangster hat. One of my favorites.
It's not really a fez. There's fish. Wow, this is actually pretty an even mix now.
Does anyone request the gangster hat?
Every hat at once.
Okay.
Just spam all of them. Can you just like run while spamming the hat change button?
Yeah.
Wow, there really isn't any clear winner.
There's been a lot of fish on head though.
We already did the fish hat though.
Okay.
Dr. Zeus. Dr. Zeus keeps coming up.
Dr. Seuss does keep coming up.
What,
Have
was
you-
it
have you done
like
shoe
the
on head?
French beanie?
We had the boot already.
Yeah, we had to put it at the start, didn't we?
Dr. Seuss would be something similar to probably yours, where you were right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's a few fedoras coming up.
Yeah,
Probably.
a lot of fedoras coming up.
Yeah.
That's the fish hat. Or the birthday party hat? Birthday party hat?
No.
Let's do fedora.
Yeah, go for fedora.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the... Is the chat decided?
No.
No, but there's a lot of fedoras and everything else has been done already.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
go with the fedora then. There we go,
You see,
fedora.
if one of you donated, it'd be so much easier. Oh no, wait. Oh,
So, we're about to climb the Stairmaster and find out what's waiting for us. What is this shaman guy all about?
There is a question here for you, Englishman.
Mm-hmm.
What is man but a miserable pile of hats?
I don't know, you'd have to ask Andre Malraux. Who had that quote.
good answer.
Somebody that gave you sits on every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do have a donation of $50. Thank you very much, Larry Hastings, who says, enjoying watching Papa and Yo. I buy all the Humble Bundles as soon as they come out, and so should you.
Yes, go buy this game. Seriously.
Yeah, do it.
Don't donate more than $1, people.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
stuff goes
it's,
to a good
it's like if you
cause.
donate like I think it's $5 is the average now.
I'm
Something
actually
like
You
looking
get the
it up now.
soundtrack as well.
It's really low, but you should, yeah.
And you also get Surgeon Simulator.
If you
with
pay
that.
more than $5.25, you also get Reyes and Surgeon Simulator 2013.
Yeah.
Like this.
Oh no, what a twist!
What a twist!
What a twist!
So here, this is where the game drops all pretension and just outright shows you what each of the symbols are. Lula is an action figure that Kiko played with as a kid. And Monster destroyed Lula in one of his drunken rampages. Same thing with his sister. There you go. Whiskey. Chat was right. And I will also, after the end of this run, if we still have time, I would like to show off a glitch with the final boss.
Oh, I love that glitch.
It's the glitch, I
which
think it is.
I'm sure that most
I hope
of the
so.
people who
Yeah.
or who've been in my chat know what it is. But anyway, here we go. Final boss time. Let's get a time check.
Currently on
110.
180 or 119.
190, that's 111.
Wait, 119.
Oh, 11, sorry.
It's 111.02 right now.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I saw 10 bit there.
Yeah. So I could still theoretically get a 115 or a 116, even with everything going as horribly wrong as it did. So anyway, here we go. Final boss time. We're going to perform a little magic trick here. We're going to take this good old whiskey bottle and turn it into a frog. And because this is a video game, we have to do it 3 times.
Oh, here come the Bible thumps.
Yep. This final boss is very Bible thumpy. Also, I do apologize for the subpar quality of this run. If you want to see much better runs that maybe don't look as good,
Lol, Steam message.
Canadian Girl, you might not want to say that. Your message just got viewed by thousands of people on the internet. Say hi to a Canadian Colonel. One of my more devout followers.
People are spamming the similarities between this and Bioshock Infinite.
Oh, yeah.
But
No, Dad,
Kiko,
no.
Kiko is not an alternate timeline version of Monster. Sorry, that's not the twist. Anyway, now we're going to do something even more cruel than the magic trick. We're going to take this little red pipe here, going to line it up just so, and oh look, we got these dolls of Alejandra, our beloved sister. We got to throw them. We got to sacrifice our dear sister several times over to Monster. Why did that doll go? There we go. And now if I've lined this up correctly, I should be able to skip part of the bridge. I think I did. Yes, I did. Okay, she's running. I can go up here and just go through half of the bridge. If I go any further, that'll actually get knocked down by parts of the bridge that are flying over to fit themselves in here. And the timer should be about 2 or 3 minutes. And then afterwards, I'll show off the glitch, which I call Save Monster, because spoilers, we're not going to be able to save Monster right now. We got to put him out of his misery. I'm afraid. You weren't Bible thumping. You weren't Bible thumping yet. Just wait.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
Bible thump is the right word for a murdering bastard, but
It's sad to have to essentially sacrifice your father, regardless of
Yeah,
how much
true.
of a prick he was.
Yeah.
And we even have this. We even have the sad Oscar bait music with a kid singing an auto tune.
No right answer percent.
Where is Celine?
see, I think
Well, we've got some random Brazilian boy instead. Almost as good.
What do the coconuts represent?
Just food, various other wasteful things that he likes to do. And I honestly,
Seem pretty calmed down. So.
and I think that the berries don't really. The berries are something that Kiko made up as sort of like a quick but ultimately ineffective treatment to the frogs. That I'm pretty sure that there's no like allegory, space in the allegory for the blueberries, and they're just a part of Kiko's imagination, and maybe things that he hopes will cure his father, but in the end he has to let him go. Okay, get ready on the timer. Once it says select checkpoint, I'm going to stop it. So, time. Okay, it's not too bad. I was only 8 seconds over. Only 8 seconds over estimate, even after all of that. So now we're going to do the final boss again, and
Right.
with it, we're going to show off the secret alternate ending.
All right. So while you're doing that, there's a few donations come in. So Tuju donated $10. Thanks very much. We've got an anonymous donation of $1.01. He says, even though I already donated, I decided for the comedy to donate this very exact amount, just above $1. So comedy percent there. And Silla's donated $1. And yeah, to answer your question, there is a very tiny percentage taken by PayPal, but 100% of the money that we receive goes to the foundation. SDA, for instance, doesn't take anything. We're not donating we're not paying anything off to like the hotel or to to Twitch, for instance. It's everything that we receive goes to the charity.
And the total that we are putting out, that we're announcing,
Yeah.
is post PayPal.
Yeah. So what if we announce the total, that is literally what the charity receives. It's not including anything that PayPal gets.
Oops, I miscounted. I should have gone over there. So, we're gonna save Monster. This is the Save Monster 2014 ending. Let's see that in the chat for a bit.
Save Monster 2014.
Save Monster 2014. Save Monster.
Do it.
We could save him. We could totally save him.
Monster.
He doesn't need to get thrown into the pit while the knockoff version of Walking in the Air from the Snowman plays in the background. I don't think I lined that up properly, but whatever. I'll just do my old Final Boss strat of just randomly throwing all $100 inside without trying to time it. No, don't do that. You need to take one full step before before Kiko can give a fully accurate
Is there
throw.
anyone around who can handle the tech side of things?
Yeah, I don't think I lined that up properly. Let's see. No, I didn't. It's off like a little bit. The white mass will show up, but only after you've moved it. Once it's there initially, it doesn't show up. Okay, she's running. I can do this again. Save Monster hype!
Hype!
Save Monster! We can do it! Indeed, we can save him.
Oh no, there's a Suave Monster here.
Yeah, a Suave Monster.
Suave Monster 2014.
Save Bed.
Yeah, kill Oh no, so we already killed Monster.
Shave Monster. Shave Monster.
Destroy Sister.
Doesn't have to be there.
Shave the monsters.
Okay, so we're gonna do sort of what we did before, except we're not gonna throw him over. We're gonna stop here because that belly of his, it looks pretty bouncy. Maybe we can vault ourselves over. We don't have to throw Monster into the pit in order to build the bridge. Let's give it a shot. Nope.
Oh dear.
And oh no! We crashed the game.
Yay.
We crashed the game. That's what you get for trying to save your father. If he's an alcoholic bastard, he deserves to die. And if you don't, you will destroy your entire world. So that's Papo.
Woo!
Good job, Englishman. Good job.
It's in the current Humble Indie bundle. Go get it. There's no reason not to at this point. It runs on pretty much any PC as long as it has a decent video card. Not very resource intensive. It's only 3 or 4 hours on your first playthrough. Definitely worth a shot.